Well, now we shift our focus to making sure that we feel our returning and better players are ready to go. So some of them will play all 3 games, probably 2 out of 3 for everybody. We expect Barkov to be back in on Saturday. The door's open for that. He skated this morning prior to the group. He'll stay here with the other injured players. He's just getting over sickness, so if he feels good on Friday, we'll throw him in on Saturday.
In Tampa Bay, the opponent, you guys are used to playing them at the end of the preseason.
Yeah.
Is it a good tune-up against them?
It is, because we're both in the same boat now. They're down to 28 healthy, and so are we, so they'll get a little lighter lineup today, but we'll get their big fellas, I think, on Thursday.
Running some special teams today. How different does Evan Rodrigues change the complexion of a power play with that shot he has?
Well, it's the right shot especially, so you're either a guy, as we would say, going downhill on the weak side where it's more pucks to the net, to a guy that can find the shot. So he'll be able to get that thing off really, really quick. It's in the where Aaron Ekblad would have started. Aaron's got a different kind of shot. It's real heavy. Rodrigues will get a little closer to the net and he'll snap it so he can get it to the puck. I think get it to the net a little quicker. So it's just a different look for us.
For Gus Forsling, like he was out there on PP2 as a 1D man, and it just seems like over the course of the last year, you've trusted him in a lot of different roles. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I think so. I think the second group, and a lot of times Barkov will go first, and especially when we had 2 defensemen, you kind of like those to be the second unit off the bench, because when it gets to 5-on-5, you've got 2 defensemen on the ice. In the situation that we're in now, it's about getting as many pucks to the net as we can. The second unit doesn't get the full minute or more usually, so they've got a smaller amount of time, and they've got to get as many pucks to the net. He can shoot it a ton. So we've got guys with good hands up top for Hagee, and he deliver the puck to the net. Whoever's on the half wall, same thing. We got a righty in the slot, which is different for us with Samoskevich there. So that'll give us a little different look. And that's just for tonight and the next 3, and then we'll see where we go from there.
And Mackie getting some power play 2 time. What do you see from him there?
Well, the big thing is I'm going to shift him over to the left side, and he'll play with Bennett and Tkachuk tonight. The idea will be see how comfortable he is on both sides of the ice, because you have different opportunities with different lines. So he's had a good camp. We want to see him. And maybe these games become more important for them because we get closer to NHL lineups and you get a little better idea of the speed. For some players, the game will get easier. It'll get faster and sometimes physically harder, but mentally it's easier to read. It just happens a lot faster. So we'll see if he can process it on the left side tonight.
And looking at the scratch players, anything to read into that, or like you said?
Well, those guys, all of those guys would have played more. So you got Mahura, who's coming off. Balinskis has played a bunch of games. We're giving this one off. I don't know if all 5 will go back in on Thursday, but I would think 4 of them for sure are going back in. It's just they've played. The cut was yesterday. If they're here, they're still in it.
And I was wanting to know a little bit about Kiersted. I mean, you've seen him a little bit last year, and
I always like the way he competes, right? So he doesn't. We're trying to get all our new guys to get on the puck, to get rid of the gap in their game, to get rid of giving ice, and he's got that figured out pretty well. So he's in that mix. Again, the shift for some of these guys is tougher now because I'm going to shift back to getting the NHL guys games, and that just leaves you with fewer spots. So we'll see if he gets in one of the next 3.
Going back to Forsling, just in terms of your trust in him, because he's been in different pairings, different situations, and this season we don't know what kind of spotlight will be on him, but it just seems like there's a lot of trust there.
Well, completely. We'll start with the consistency of it because his game doesn't change a whole heck of a lot. I mean, Gus is one of those guys that I probably talk to 5 times a year, right? How you doing? Because his game is right, he looks right, he enjoys it. He's so effective defensively. We think each year he's been able to add a little bit of offense to the game, get up the ice a little bit more. Similar in that Ekblad will get up the ice, Ekman Larsson will get up the ice, so he has a good balance of when not to go. There really isn't a whole lot he can't do.
We've heard you say extremely fit man a lot over the last 2 years. Is there anyone more fit than Gus? He says he never stops working out. He seems like one of those guys.
No, I mean, the main contender for that title in the past, I think Patrick Hornquist worked really hard to fight with Gus about that. And then, Ryan Lomberg and Montour and a few of those guys. But Gustav, I think he's going to win it. I think based on the results, early results, has him in the 1 seed.
We haven't asked for updates in a little while, but anything new with Eki or Monty?
No, so the 3 guys that are the long term, Eki and Monty are right where they're supposed to be. They're back on the ice, they're training. Gadovich is closer to a return than Ekiamani, but he's still, I'm thinking it's November in that area with them. So those are the long-term guys. All 5 of the guys that are out right now, probable this weekend, they're all back. So it's a very, Barkov is just a sickness, so we think he's going to be back this weekend. True, Denisenko, those guys, I think those guys are probably the next kind of wave guy. Ritchie will come with us, and John might be a little bit longer into Monday or Tuesday of next. But I would expect all 5 guys would be ready for the start of the season.
And goaltenders for this week, there's maybe one for each.
I don't know. Robbie Tallis does all that. I haven't even looked at the goalies yet. Yeah, that's. I don't know that it's one, because Sergei's getting the net opening night, and if he will probably need 2.
And Ritchie, is just a little thing like you.
Yeah, he's just the closest guy on that injury list to coming back, so we're bringing him with us because there's a chance he could play. Whether he gets in, I haven't decided. It's just we're keeping him because he's closest.
And for a guy like that, on a PTO,
Yeah,
it sucks. Right?
Injuries are tough,
Yeah.
right? Because the games mean so much, and you'll find those guys, especially if they spend some time in the league, they're much better as camp wears on. But those are tough.
But he's a veteran guy. You know him.
Yeah, I know. I've
Does
seen
that
it.
help him a little bit?
It helps him, right? Because he's not introduced
He's not a
himself. I
kid.
got a pretty good idea of how he's played. I've watched him play. I know what he looks like at his best. So that does help.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, everybody, you coming?